Welcome to Collaborate, the podcast that's reshaping real estate success. Whether you're a new agent striving for your first big win or a seasoned producer ready to break into the top 1%, Collaborate is your gateway to elite strategies, global networks, and industry-changing insights. Each episode delivers actionable advice straight from the top 1% of real estate professionals worldwide. This is where you learn the tools, tactics, and high-level techniques you need to scale your business and unlock financial freedom. Don't just survive, thrive. I'm your host, Trevor Bigg, three-time Icon Award winner with over $100 million in sales volume as a solo agent. And if you haven't been invited to the show yet, get your numbers up because this is a space reserved for the elite. Welcome back. I'm your host, Trevor Bigg, and this is Collaborate, the premier podcast for ambitious agents committed to scaling their business. And honestly, I can't wait to get into this one today because today we are joined by none other than the beast himself, Agent John Tsai. This guy is considered the king of the Vancouver real estate jungle by many. He was the first president in eXp Canada, and he's an agent who does over 200 million plus in sales volume every single year. John, thanks for joining us today.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, no problem, man. If you don't mind, give us and the audience a little bit of a background to your success. How long you've been in the game, what got you started, and I think most importantly, what made you decide to do real estate in one of the most competitive cities in the country?
Oh, wow. Oh, that's a great point, actually. I started in 2006, and it was basically, I was introduced by someone who was kind of an inadvertent mentor of mine. And he gave me a tip for a book, because he was working out at a gym in Taiwan, and he was 42 years old, and his name was Will. He's a Caucasian guy in Taiwan. And I'm like, okay, I got to talk to this guy, right? And it's Tuesday afternoon. Nobody's in the gym except for me. I'm on my summer vacation. I was 22 years old, taking a break from UBC, and I'm like, Will, what do you do? Don't you have to work? He's like, no, I'm retired. I'm like, what? How old are you? He's I'm 42 years old. I'm like, wow, I want to be just like you.
Absolutely.
What do you suggest for me to do if I want to become successful just like yourself and be retired at 42? And he said, go read the book, Rich Dad, Poor Dad. So I read it. And after that, I was like, okay, I get it. The whole book was about residual income. So you can get out of the rat race, either through investments or through rental properties giving you residual income. So I said, okay, I'm going to get into real estate. So then I graduated from UBC, and then I procrastinated for another 4 years before I got into
one does,
2006, right? And then I thought like real estate was going to be easy. I thought, okay, if you get a license, you'll get money. That's just how real estate worked. That's what I thought. So in the first 6 months, I go and make $2,500. I'm like, damn, this thing is hard. Yeah. Right. And then, of course, the market was good in Vancouver and everybody was buying. All my friends were at that age where they're buying their first home. So I did 17 transactions as a 27-year-old and I made $104,000 from making here. I was selling jeans on Robson Street. Do you guys have below the belt where you're at?
No, dude.
No, bootlegger.
Yeah. We've got bootlegger. We've got a Walmart.
Okay, so bootlegger is one of those shops. Okay, I sold jeans for 4 years at that place. My highest year selling jeans was $24,000. Here I am 4 years later making $107,000 as a 27-year-old. I go out and buy a BMW X5 for $89,000, and then I use the rest of the money that I didn't have. Yeah, exactly, right. And then I bought purses after purses, bags after bags, clothes for my wife, from my girlfriend then. And then completely broke, $15,000 in debt. And then guess the next year what happened? The market crashed. I went from 17 transactions down to 10 transactions, working 2 hours a day versus 10-hour, 12-hour days in 2008 and doing 10 transactions, making $48,000 in 2008. And then by then I was $80,000 in debt. Wow. Right. And then that year was like, I never want to feel like this ever again. I don't ever want to feel broke again. I don't ever want to feel desperate again. And the only way to avoid feeling like that was to work hard. There's no way around it. I didn't know what I was doing, but I worked really hard every single day, prospecting, lead generation, lead follow-up, negotiating contracts, going on appointments. I did it all. And even then, I couldn't do a sale for 6 months, but I just kept grinding.
Yeah.
So then something clicked, the market kind of turned around. I did 33 transactions in 2009 in 9 months, right? And then I thought, okay, like that was good. And I never want to feel like that again. So I went on to work 10 years straight, 7 days a week.
Yeah.
Just giving everything else up and to focus on real estate 100%. And then I made it to the echelon of Vancouver real estate, which was top 1%, 149 transactions in a year as a solo agent and burning out. And it was all about building teams. And here we are 19 years later, 18 years later in the business at EXP, almost 6 years. I built up a good revenue share group, which basically supplements and pays for all my business and personal expenses. Then I can focus on really helping agents and contribute to agents instead of me. When I was doing 149 transactions, it was all about me selling the most amount of homes possible as John Tsai. It was all about my ego.
That case of commission breath.
Yeah, exactly. So there's a few phases in this journey of real estate. But what I got from this whole journey was I'm never going to quit. So there you have it. A 19-year journey.
Well, yeah, that leads right into my next topic there of after 18 years in real estate. I mean, you've obviously built a reputation for being relentless in your approach to growth. Is there a moment, can you share a time when your commitment to growth propelled your career to that next level? Because everybody's concerned about, like you said, you put in a 10-year grind. Everybody's worried that if I get to the end of that 10 years, they're not going to be where you were. You know what I mean? So can you share a moment or maybe an instance where you consistently had doors slammed in your face, but you didn't stop, and then that's when your level excelled?
Yeah, I mean, in a 10-year stretch, you're going to have so many ups and downs, okay?
Yep.
And there's so many times where I'm like, oh my God, I'm so tired. Here I am, like barely 30 years old, and I'm like tired every single day. And sometimes I would go to a pho restaurant, I would eat the pho, and then I drink the iced coffee, and I'm just like, I want to quit. I want to quit real estate. Like, what is this worth it? But then I had no other skills, Trevor, to make that much money. Like I had no a degree in psychology, which allowed me to earn $35,000 a year as a social worker. Unless I get a PhD or a master's in psychology, I was going to go nowhere. So I'm like, well, I can't quit because my lifestyle says I can't quit. I got a wife and I want a family. I can't quit. So there's so many instances where it just clicks. So there's different stages where there's a click. So 2008 was a defining moment.
That was when it all changed.
I was like, I'm going to become a beast. I'm never going to quit. And you watch me win. Right.
Hey, well, your focus on being a beast in the industry, it's inspiring. It's inspired a lot of other agents. You've really geared your platform towards being a beast. What mindset shifts were pivotal for you to develop this kind of level of drive or this level of intensity?
Again, it's not just one, but you have to rewind back to like when I was a kid.
Okay.
And my dad had me my dad didn't have me, but my mom had me when he was 45.
Yeah.
So then I was the miracle child. I was the fourth child out of four that after 10 years, they decided to have a child. And my dad was old, right? And growing up, I was the miracle child. I could do no wrong. But when I started to become adolescent, he would have high expectations of me. So here's what I heard all the time. You're no good. You're not enough. You're going to amount to nothing. You're lazy, all through my adolescence. So I hated my dad, right? So then all these things, and I the usual stuff, like I got bullied in high school. I was discriminated because I was an immigrant in 1991, and everybody would just kick me around because I'm Chinese. I don't know if that was a reason, but maybe I'm just not liked. So anyway, I utilize all that energy, Trevor.
Yeah.
Every step of the way to be like, you know what? I'll show them. You know what? I'm not going to quit because they told me that I wasn't enough. I'm going to prove to you that I'm enough. So it was like this inferiority complex perpetuating in my mind. So every single time I had to turn it on. So it becomes a relentless mindset. But I'll tell you this, it can only get to a point. You can only get to a point with your inferiority mindset, right? And just beast mode through things. But once you beast mode to 149 transactions, you can only beast mode so much and you're going to burn out. So now I had to switch my mindset to not that I'm not enough, that I am enough, that I'm good enough, that I can attract more, that I can work less and make more, that I can work smart. So, but I still utilize that relentless mindset to work smart, to say no to the good and say yes to the great, which is what you see as team building, is building an organization and becoming a great leader, is all giving up that, like, the grind mentality. It's all beast mode, but it's like, stop doing the grind so you can flow. Okay, so utilizing the mindset of the inferiority complex to a certain point, but you have to give that up to go to the next level. Does that make sense?
Oh, absolutely. It's like a quote that I just read the other day where it's people want to take your position until they realize what it takes to play the role. And it's everybody thinks that they want your spot. They think, God, John must be so lucky, must be so lucky. They have no idea the 18 years that it took to get to where you're at. And then that's the thing is you try to show them in many of your videos, you got to acquire taste for shit. That just is what it is.
People want your results until they see what you have to do to get your results.
Yeah.
And I get that. And that's fine. And I want to help agents realize that, yes, there's hard work involved. Are there ways where we can kind of speed up your progress? Yes. You have to be coachable, but there's no way around hard work.
Yeah.
There's just no way. I'm sorry.
Well, then let's circle back to that. I want to refer to the video that I'm talking about. You posted it a few weeks ago, refers to acquiring the taste of shit. You mentioned that many agents are pretty much afraid to taste the shit, whereas you're over here asking for seconds. If building a successful real estate career requires 14, 16-hour days, you're working evenings, you're working weekends, you're missing kids' soccer games and ballet recitals. If building this level of success is such a plate of shit, why didn't you quit? Or do you have a recipe, a secret recipe that makes your shit taste better?
There's no shortcut. There's no secret. There's no secret recipe, but you have to have something at stake. I was willing to take the shit and taste the shit and like the taste of it because I had something at stake. What's something at stake for you? Meaning, what's your why? It's always not about how, but why you're doing what you're doing. So my dad passed away in 2013, okay? That gave me another motivation. He sat me down before he passed away. And he said, you know what, the Tsai family is yours. What are you even talking about? Right? I'm the youngest of 4 kids. Here I am just starting my career in real estate. And you want me to take over the family?
That's a lot.
So I said, you're crazy. I'll see you tomorrow, right? I was visiting him in the hospital. And 3 a.m. he passes away. I carried that responsibility and accountability from my dad to say that, hey, you know, you got the Tsai family and you better show up on a daily basis. So that's like endless energy and drive that I have right now. I'm never going to let my dad down. So like you really have to hone in on why you're doing what you're doing. And you have to then go and take the shit from people so you can become a successful person, so you can take over the reins of the family and carry on the legacy. But not everybody has this type of motivation. But I do think that if you don't have one, you have to create one.
Absolutely. And I think many agents are focused on when they get asked what your why is, what is your why? They all think about why they started. Everybody thinks why they started, why they got into it. And a lot of the agents have the same generic response on why they got into it. Well, they've seen somebody else make a bunch of money, or they've seen somebody else driving a Beamer, and that's why they got into it. But I think if you want to really break a realtor down into what their why is, you ask them why they didn't quit, why they're still in the game, because every successful realtor has a lot of the same characteristics, a lot of the same story where they went through a 10-year battle through personal growth, through business growth, through highs and lows. And so you ask them why they didn't quit, and then that'll kind of really reveal the why that lots of people are looking for.
Yeah. I mean, at the end of the day, it's some deep-rooted thing that you're working through.
Absolutely.
That is carrying you forward. Because I see we have a partner in Calgary and he has Ferraris, he has Lamborghinis. But when you get to understand who he is behind all those cars and the watches,
yep,
it's like his grandpa, his father, who worked endlessly and still works today. And he works so hard every single day, grinding away, not because of those watches and cars, but because of his family. There's something at stake that's deep rooted. So I always encourage agents to write down what your goals are for the next year, but write down the reasons why you want those goals. Because every year it changes, right? So the first 10 to 15 are going to be superficial. Like, I want to go to Hawaii. I want to buy this car, buy that shirt, buy that jacket, buy that watch. But the last 5, you're going to really dig deep and say, I want to be happy. And I want to make my family happy. I want to be there for my family. And that right there is a driving force behind why you won't quit. It's just for the car, so easy to quit.
Yep. Yeah, I think that's a really good point. I think, okay, well, here's a question for you then. I think many agents on their road to success, everybody's got this daunting fear that they're going to end up hitting a plateau. Many agents plateau after reaching a certain level of success. How have you avoided the daunting plateau?
Yeah, the plateau is real.
Yep.
And it's your internal temperature of your wealth and your consciousness. Okay. So in order to break through that plateau, I would surround yourself with people who are doing a lot more than you.
Yep.
Okay. So exposure is everything and collaboration is everything. Right. And if you see others doing more and working less, you're like, okay, well, I want to learn from that person. And the next is you have to set new goals. You have to inspire yourself. You have to think big and dream big about the goals that you want. And if it doesn't scare you, it's not a big enough goal. So every day I'm playing the infinite game of getting 1% better every single day. If it's just about making $1 million, I achieved that about 8 years ago, my first time making $1 million in a year.
Yep.
Right? If it's just about that, my career would have been over.
Yep.
If it's just about that, it's a finite game. But if I'm playing the infinite game, I just got to get 1% better every single day and keep thinking bigger and keep driving.
Well, and everybody's afraid to get into the game because they don't know what they're doing. And I think a lot of people misinterpret it. But your goals are supposed to make you feel like you don't know what you're doing. You're supposed to have to acquire new skill sets to reach the goals that you want. Otherwise, your goals, I think, are too minuscule. I mean, you've got to be pushing yourself to that level of uncomfortness to achieve the level of success that you've got pictured in your mind.
So we're doing this program right now with Dr. Ben Hardy. You should check it out. It's 2x versus 10x. 10x is easier than 2x, where they have you set a goal that's so impossible in the next 90 days for you to achieve, where you can do your 10-year goal within 1 year, right? Yep. But in order for you to fulfill that 10-year goal in 1 year is 10x easier than 2x is you got to fulfill that future self.
Yep.
So the pathway that I took to do 149 deals took me 10 years. But if I'm the same person today doing that 149 deals as a solo agent, I wouldn't go through the same pathways. Yep. Right? So it's all about fulfilling that future self. If you were being that person that could 10x your business, what systems would you have to build that will make your current systems obsolete?
100%. That's like I heard Matthew McConaughey say not too long ago, who's your role model? His answer was, my role model is me 10 years from now.
That's awesome.
Every time, you know what I mean? Because then him 10 years from now, his new role model is going to be him 10 years from now. You know what I mean? Your goals have to evolve with you.
Yeah, exactly. It's endless. It's endless until you die.
It's endless, my friend.
It's a sprint and a marathon.
Yep, absolutely. What's that? What did I read the other day? Winning at entrepreneurship means winning at patience. The day you plant the seed is not the day you harvest the fruit.
Yeah, so good, man. So good. The root word in Latin for patience is called potentia. Okay. And potentia means to suffer. So in essence, new agents, you need to be able to suffer or be willing to suffer in order to get the things and the achievements that you want. But most aren't patient enough. Therefore, they physically quit or have mentally quit way too early.
100%. Tell me a little bit more about the personal journey. Let's get a little personal about the rise to success. What are some of your non-negotiables when it comes to business, but more importantly, when it comes to your personal growth? What are some of the non-negotiables that have helped you become one of the top agents in Vancouver?
Well, on the personal side, I had to give up a lot of things. I had to give up balance. I had to give up a lot. Like I didn't see my parents. I didn't see my siblings, and I barely saw my wife. We were like pre-separation. Okay. At a point. Yeah. Because all I cared, it was, if you had asked me in 2014, 15, what my priorities are. Number one is real estate. Okay. Number two is my wife. Mm-hmm. Number three is my health. Got it all twisted, right? Backwards. So now it's the personal journey is like, now I got to take care of number one first, which is my health. If I'm alive, I can do everything. If you're not, don't think about it. It's over. Number two is family. Am I spending time caring for the people that matter to me? The people that I love, am I spending time with them?
Yep.
Number three then is business. If you get your family and your health all set, the business will come naturally, easily and effortlessly.
On the road to success there, would you say it's possible to have a building successful real estate career as well as work-life balance, or is one have to outweigh the other?
Well,
Because
my journey was, yeah, go ahead.
me personally, I've tried the whole work-life balance thing and I preach it, don't get me wrong, but in the first few years, and when, like you said, when we're doing 14, 16-hour days and we're working evenings and weekends and, you're putting in that grind, I think, because I've got a wife too who I care for dearly and I've got three little girls and it's fantastic, but I do know that for a few years there, I was not the man of the house. You know what I mean? I was the man of the real estate career. I was answering calls at dinner time and doing all the things, right? But I think at that point, work-life balance is, personally anyways, I wasn't able to achieve it. I think at that point a high level of communication is what got everybody through those work life scenarios, because I mean there was times when everybody just had to kind of understood, and so I had to give everybody that high level of communication to let everybody know where I was at and where everything's we're at. And now I'm kind of, like you said, I'm on the top side of the curve where we've built a big business and things are great, and I've got the time to show up to the ballet recitals, and I'm at all the soccer practices, and I'm dropping the kids off at gymnastics, and it's fantastic. But I think for a couple of years there, it was unachievable. What are your thoughts?
I can't say that you can have balance because I didn't.
Yep.
But what I will say is that I identified at few points in my career where I could have leveraged a little bit faster.
Okay. Yeah.
So
Well said.
I don't mind a young agent going 3 to 5 years of nonstop, never-ending action. But if after 3 to 5 years, when you're doing 20, 30, 50 transactions and you still haven't leveraged your business and you're still working 12-hour days, something's up. And you need to leverage faster, right? But I think I love what you brought up about communication with your family, setting the right expectations. Listen, I used to say this, I'll be home at 5 o'clock. Next thing you know, dinner's ready on the table. I'm still out networking with my friends, getting drunk or whatever, because it's business.
Yeah.
So my integrity was out with my wife. But if I say, hey, you know what, daddy's not going to come home tonight, we're going to be out networking and I'll be home at around 10:30 tonight. Okay. Communication. Yep. If you set the right expectations and she's okay with it, your girls are okay with it, then it's good. But I said I didn't do that part right, and I was still grinding. So therefore, my relationship it was damaged, but we saved it, luckily.
Yeah. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think that high level of communication, I mean, it's got to start at home, but blend that into your career, because my goodness, you would be amazed the problems you can solve with simply a high level of communication. I mean, when all parties have all the facts on the table, the amount of problems that get solved is astronomical compared to, thinking that you can figure this out on your own. And now 2 days later, you're dealing with this huge mess that could have been resolved through simply, a few phone calls or an appropriate amount of communication.
100%. I couldn't agree more. Everything is created in communication. And if there is any problems, it's problems between people and communication. So
100% every time, root of all problems. John, I've lost you.
Oh, I'm back.
All right, right on. So, John, at this point in your career, man, 18 years, killing it. What are your goals for next year? Are you trying to double production? Are you trying to grow a team? Are you trying to, what does John have in store for the Vancouver real estate scene?
The three words come to mind as I was, leading my team is impeccable customer service to our clients, impeccable customer service to our teammates, impeccable customer service to my family. Yesterday, I went out and bought 2 little teddy bears and 3 roses, 1 for the wife and 2 for the girls, and then 2 teddy bears. Slow clap, because you know what I'm talking about. And it was random. And it was a surprise for everyone. But that's called impeccable customer service, doing something that they didn't expect and doing it in advance of them expecting something. So that's what I want to be about. I want to be a good Samaritan. I want to be a great agent for my clients. I want to be a great leader for my team and a great leader for my organization. And I want to be a great steward of eXp Realty. I just want to do my best every single day to help contribute to others. And now, since my career is, on the latter half, I think like I have everything that I need financially now, residual income wise. So now how can I help you, Trevor? And how can I help everybody else at eXp Realty get what I got?
Yeah.
That's my mission right now.
And how do you ensure you're going to hit those goals? And the reason I ask is because I've met two types of successful agents. Ones that put a plan in place and have daily actionable steps that they take every day. And they've got a map that says, I'm here right now. This is where I'm going to be at the end of my map. And option number two is there's the agents who follow the rule of maximum effort equals maximum results and just tries to consistently do as much as possible all the time. I've seen both strategies work. What's your style?
Yeah, the maximum effort, maximum amount of work, it leads to burnout. If you don't have true north, as they say it, you need to have a goal. You need to have a measurable goal to know that you're doing the best you can every single day, 1% better every single day, that you're contributing at a high level. How do we know that's going to happen? Is I set myself for a goal for 400 transactions at the end of the year, 2,000 agents in my organization, right? Yeah. And to have measurable goals in like how many Google reviews we can get.
Yes, that's big.
So all these things roll into one, basically what I said, but I have measurable goals to go towards based on that mission of impeccable customer service.
Yeah. And testimonials are gold. It's a lot easier for somebody else to tell somebody how great you were than you try to preach it yourself.
Exactly. Yeah.
100%, man.
And even like, I think Glenn is such a great leader that he always gives us these nuggets along the way. And he said that going forward, it's not so much about the number of agents, but rather the quality of agents, and not so much about growing the company versus creating the best experience for agents at the company.
Yep. Totally agree, man.
So I'm bought into that.
I love it. Yeah. Okay. Well, as we near the end of the podcast, is there any golden piece of advice that you could share with our audience if their goals are to grow within the industry, just like you have? What would be the golden nugget that you will drop in their pocket?
Well, I think, first of all, don't quit. If you're listening to this, you're going through a hard time, don't quit, because if you never quit, you will never fail. You can't beat somebody who's never willing to quit, first and foremost. And next is you're going to go through a lot of hard work, but if you find the right mentor and a coach that can help you speed up your progress and be coachable, you can shorten my 10 years into 3.
Yep.
Why not? And we're here to help, Trevor and I. So reach out to us if you need. And, we're always here to help. But guys, just never quit and you'll never fail, and become a beast.
If I'm a buyer, seller, or fellow agent listening in at home, in a car, at the office, at the gym, what would be the best way for them to connect with you?
Yes, at Tsai Real Estate on Instagram, where I provide a lot of free value. And if you want to DM me there, happy to have a chat. Always happy to help.
Awesome. Well, John, thanks again for joining us today. Another extremely impactful show. Again, I'm your host, Trevor Bigg. Tune in next time for another exciting episode focused on delivering actionable steps delivered straight from the top 1%.
Thank you, Trevor.
Thank you, John. Thanks for tuning in to Collaborate, where we're not just talking about success, we're building it. If you found value in today's episode, make sure to subscribe and never miss out on the insights that could take your real estate career to the next level. And remember, this is a space for the elite. If you're ready to level up and become part of a global network of top-performing agents, join us at the Global Group for exclusive tools, resources, and opportunities to collaborate with the best in the business. I'm Trevor Bigg, and remember, if you haven't been invited to this show yet, you need to grind harder, hustle smarter, and get those numbers up, because this is a space reserved for the elite.